Hey everybody, it's Party Elite back with another beginner's guide for Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. Today we're talking about the amazing opportunities presented in the world of passive income. There are a few different ways to make a passive income in Bannerlord, and we're going to be focusing on some of the more early game potential for raising money with minimal effort. We'll discuss fiefs and taxes in another video since that's a much bigger topic, but yes, owning land is definitely a way to get rich, but that's like saying you need to be rich to get richer. We're talking about setting the foundations for greatness. Passive income, for those of you that don't know, is money that is automatically generated for you without you having to do anything outside of start its generation. So, for example, buying low and selling high is an active method of income requiring you to buy, travel, and sell before you see any returns. Or attacking bandits and looters, plundering their gold and smelting their weapons and selling the ores. That's another example of active income where you have to do the work. This reliance on you prevents you from doing anything else when you need to make money. And if you ever get preoccupied with a war, a siege, or some time in a dungeon, that active income disappears and might lead to significant losses and even desertion if you can't pay salaries. This is where passive income comes in, continuing to make you money even when you're otherwise predisposed or taking a walk across the lands. There are two main types of passive income early on in a Bannerlord game, and they each come with their own secrets to optimization and their own pitfalls. First up, let's talk about workshops. In my opinion, workshops are the first form of passive income you should look into, as they come with minimal risks and a great opportunity for profit. Workshops are any one of the handful of shops that take raw materials available in the world and convert them into a finished product. Clay into pottery, grain into beer, flax into linen, etc., etc. In-game, they actively consume these products and produce the end product, so your purchase of a workshop isn't just some surface-level interaction, but can actually have some deeper implications. As I said, workshops actively consume and produce materials and products. They pay to buy the raw material, and this means that where the raw material is more plentiful, you're going to see a cheaper cost price, and as a result, a higher profit. Look around the map to see if there are any hotspots for raw materials. Hover over a city and take a look at the list of bound settlements. Look for these settlements and hover over them to see what they produce. That's a great way to predict what raw materials will be plentiful. For example, clay at Pencannock or grain down south at Sinala. Now once you get to your location, you have to actually enter the settlement. While you can take a walk, I find it often drops you outside of the city limits, making for a boring walk into town from outside. It's typically faster to visit the tavern and then use the door to exit into the town center. Then hold Alt. This will highlight a lot of things, including the locations of the various shops in the city. This is where the second factor comes in. Minimize competition. If there is already a type of workshop that you're looking to establish, you're much better off buying the existing one rather than establishing a new one. Multiple types of workshops in the same city will result in the market being flooded with the end product, and again, supply and demand applies. Too much supply of the end product results in reduced sales prices. Not only that, but you've got multiple workshops fighting over the same amount of raw material as before, meaning a higher cost price as well, since the raw materials will get more expensive. This will eat into your profits. So, buy the existing workshop, and whatever you do, do not establish multiple of the same workshop in the same city. Even if they all belong to you, they're still buying raw materials at a higher price and selling at a lower price, minimizing your profits. Note that this only applies within the same city. Don't worry about buying multiples of the same workshop across multiple cities, so if you want to be a beer baron, feel free. In my experiments, having multiple of the same workshop even in neighboring cities did not seem to have any effect on profits. Now once you've made up your mind, go to the workshop you want to buy. Don't worry about what type of workshop it is right now, you can repurpose it. Now keep in mind, you'll need to talk to a shop worker when you get there, so you can only do this during regular working hours. Don't make this visit at midnight, just wait until the sun has risen. On speaking to the shop worker, you'll just need to tell them that you want to buy, they'll tell you the price, and then you can decide what type of shop you'd like to make it. You can keep it as is or change it up, and if you're not sure what raw materials might be needed, you can choose an option and the shop worker will tell you. As long as you've established the workshop in an ideal spot, you'll start seeing profits right away. It'll start slow, but can grow a great deal in short time. Outside of profits though, there is another potential benefit. For this example, we're going to use a smith. Now, a smith typically needs iron ore to produce weapons and armor. A place without a smith will have access to fewer or worse such equipment. So, if you want to have easy access to better equipment in your own kingdom or at a certain crossroads, you can establish a smith. Be warned, if it's a place that doesn't easily have access to iron ore, you will not make a profit, but it does mean that you can obtain the prerequisite material one way or another and sell it to the city at a great price, essentially double dipping on profits while also getting access to better equipment at that location. This is a little less passive though, but I just thought I'd mention it. It's a halfway between passive and active income where you still have to ferry the goods just in case other caravans aren't bringing those raw materials in as needed. Your workshops will sit idle, not making any money if the raw material is not available. The big risk with workshops is war. If you end up at war with the owner of the city, your workshop is lost without any return unless you have the perk that gives you a bit of money to recuperate your losses. Long sieges will also affect your profits. If you see a long siege or conquest coming, or perhaps even a war, consider selling your workshop from the clan screen before it happens. That way, you can minimize your losses and reinvest that money. Much like a real shop owner, you have to stay up to date with current events to avoid potential losses. So, try to establish your workshop at a place with plentiful raw materials, minimal competition, and little risk of being put under siege or conquered by potential future enemies. Oh, and keep in mind, producing luxury goods doesn't guarantee higher profits. Even though the end product sells at a higher price, it might not have as many readily available buyers. The other form of passive income that's easiest to get to is the caravan. Now, caravans are a bit riskier since they can be attacked while traveling, and they're also a bit more expensive. They require an initial investment of 15,000 dinars, as well as the assignment of a companion to lead it. And if that's not enough, you also have to pay the salary of the caravan guard, a guard that can grow from around 30 men to around 45 very quickly. That's easily another 200 or so dinars a day. But, obviously, with great investment comes great profit. While they start moving almost immediately, and you can even see them on the map and interact with them like any other caravan, they take a while to start generating profit. I've seen it take up to 20 days before profits start coming in, which, yes, can get expensive, and even worse, I once started a caravan at Ostrakhan that didn't make me any money for over 30 days. Caravans move from place to place, buying and selling goods based on cost and sales prices. They look to generate a profit, but often they simply can't. Until they do, a caravan works trade the same way you might as a player if you were meticulous. Buy products where they are in high supply, travel to places where they are in low supply and high demand, and then sell them. They mix and match their goods based on where they're going, and you can even see where they're headed in the clan screen. Once caravans do start making profit though, they start making some serious profit. Caravans will make more money than workshops, and though it can fluctuate greatly on a daily basis, from my experiments, they will average a higher amount than a workshop. But how does one go about starting a caravan? First off, head to the city where you want it to begin. Speak to any one of the shop owners. The easiest way to do so is by clicking on their name up here and then opting to talk to them. From my understanding and my experience, it doesn't matter who you speak to, it doesn't matter what store they own, you can just start a caravan with any one of the shop owners. Now tell them you'd like to set up a caravan, pay them that initial investment, and assign a companion, and you're done. Now the ideal companion to lead a caravan will have a high trade skill, likely a wanderer with the swift or the spice vendor in their names. The high trade skill will reduce trade penalties and as such further increase your profits. Now remember, war will affect caravans adversely. Not only can caravans be attacked by bandits and looters and enemy armies, but it doesn't seem as though your caravans can stop at or trade at enemy settlements either, much like yourself. This can extend the distance that they have to travel in order to make a profit. Now, if war has made a caravan unprofitable or less profitable, you can always disband it through the clan screen. Now, there are some things to keep in mind. For one, the profit from a workshop seems to tick twice a day, once in the morning when salaries and all are paid, and a second time later in the evening when all the sales are tallied. Or at least that's what I think is happening, since the number always seems to go up later in the day. 2. Caravans have their profit fluctuate all day. This is because they might make multiple purchases and sales over the course of a day, and you'll see the numbers dance around as a result of that throughout the day. And 3. If you want to really maximize your passive incomes, consider the perks available under the trade tree in particular. Some will reduce the salaries you have to pay for workshops or caravans, others will protect your investment from losses, and perhaps the most interesting are the ones that will give you access to trade rumors that you can use for your own trades. Like I said, taxes are another form of passive income. Once you gain a fief, if you can keep the bound villages protected, taxes will flow in. But we'll talk about fief management in greater depth in a future video. They go well beyond taxes as a way to generate way more than just money. And if you're interested in a deep dive into fiefs and fief management, let me know by leaving a comment down below. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and gained something from it, please let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. It really helps me know what people are interested in. And for more Bannerlord guides and coverage in general, make sure you subscribe to this channel. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of my channel members and patrons for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. You keep us alive and running smoothly. And a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.